Our souls long for something. It's sometimes hard to figure out what that longing is, what that hunger is. I have a hunch, though, that you're longing for community, you're longing for connection, you're longing for transcendence, you're longing for a deeper love. So stick around, pay attention. This worship time will connect you to that deeper longing, and I promise it'll satisfy. Let us worship.
During Lent at First-Plymouth, we're doing 40 straight days of Bible studies. It is always so meaningful if we can get a circle of people around a scripture, and what happens in the sharing around a text, that's when the Bible comes alive. I think too often in America we think of doing a lot of private devotionals with scripture. That's great, but it really pops in a spiritual way when you read it in community. So 40 straight days of Bible study. All the pastors are doing them every day. Pastor JC, Pastor KJ, and me. 40 days. By the way, I think that's funny. At First-Plymouth, we have Pastor JC, KJ, JK at FP, LOL. Anyway, lots of letters. There's a passage that I was using during one of those Bible studies this week that's actually not in our Bible. Well, you might think it is. John 8, most Bibles you open up, there's a story about the woman caught in adultery. But actually, it's not in the earliest manuscripts. And so scholars, when they compile our Gospels to create our Bible, most of them acknowledge it's not in the original manuscripts. So most American Bibles put it as a footnote. It's one of the most beloved stories in our tradition, and it gets footnoted, or it's put in paragraph markers to say it's not in the original manuscript. But I tell you what, this was such a beloved story. This is cool. Maybe it wasn't in the Bible, but Christians loved this story so much, and there was probably an authentic memory of Jesus doing this. So it just hung around because it's so awesome. You know the story, but let me remind you of it. Jesus is at the temple, and he sits down to begin to teach. In the ancient world, teachers would sit down when it was time to teach, and people gathered around him there at the temple. But then suddenly the scribes and the Pharisees drag this woman in front of them, make the woman stand in front of everybody, and they say to Jesus, "We caught this woman in adultery, and according to the law of Moses, she must be stoned. What do you say?" This is a harrowing moment. A woman just being treated as an object, dragged in front of a bunch of men, her life literally in peril. This is harrowing. But Jesus simply bends down and starts writing in the ground. And they keep questioning him, but after a few moments of him writing in the ground, he stands up and says, "Well, let the first of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone." And then he bends down again and starts doodling in the dirt. And after a while, the men start to leave, and he's left there with the woman just standing alone, and he looks up to her and says, "Has no one condemned you?" "Well, neither do I." "Go and leave your life of sin. Go and live." It's an awesome story. It's, on some levels, grotesque, the way this woman is being treated. But then somehow Jesus can take what is ugly and make it beautiful. That's our Jesus. So when we were sharing this story in a group, the group experience of this just made it so vivid, because in our world, in our lives, we've seen people treated like objects. People just being manipulated, used for other people's purposes, like their chess pieces, with no regard for their human dignity. That's how that woman was being treated. And Jesus isn't going to let that happen. So watch how Jesus just completely transforms this situation. They're treating her like a mere object. He goes down to the ground and doodles, but do you notice? That's as if he's kneeling to a woman. Do you notice how dramatic this scene is? I mean, in a patriarchal society, a renowned rabbi or teacher wouldn't kneel in front of a woman, but he does it twice. It's almost as if he's acknowledging her humanity. It's actually stunning. So it's also one of those scenes where people are trying to, well, the scribes and the Pharisees or the chief priests, they're trying to catch Jesus in a wrong kind of answer. They're trying to make him slip up publicly. And so they asked him about the law of Moses. Should we stone this woman? So they're trying to get him to say either don't follow the law of Moses or do, and then it would show that he's violent. You see, obviously, Jesus had already shown he's remarkably gentle. And so they thought a way to make him look inauthentic would be for him to allow any violence. Jesus won't allow any violence. But in these scenes, Jesus is so agile. Do you notice? Oh, you should remember this. They ask him a direct question that is meant in a surly, ornery way. He simply doesn't answer it. I know we get in a lot of arguments these days, but you might want to watch how he decompresses the scene. It just doesn't really answer it, or at least takes a time out. You might remember that if you're in some difficult conversations. You don't have to rush to an answer. You might want to slow everything down. Jesus could decompress a situation. Are you that type of person? Sometimes I've seen some great local beat cops, like even in our neighborhood here. They come into a situation that is alive with anger and danger, and they just seem so calm, and they just naturally decompress it. Are you that type of person? I hope you are, because there are anxious times happening. So here's a scene where violence could have happened, and somehow Jesus, with his ministry, turns it into a moment of love. This woman is honored. This woman is sent upon her way. Can you take moments that are dangerous and send people on their way with love? Oh, we have so much to learn from Jesus. So listen, I want to throw us right now to a Christmas song. I know this sounds strange. We're about to celebrate Easter. We're about to move into Holy Week, the crucifixion and the resurrection. Why do I want you to listen to a Christmas song? Well, there's something about the cross, the resurrection, and the incarnation that all go together in some mystical way to my understanding of Christ, to our tradition's sense of Christ. They're as if they're of whole cloth: the birth, the sacrificial death, the resurrection, the new life. This song is so beautiful. Listen to this.
It came upon the midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to all, from heaven's all gracious King. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Yet with the woes of sin and strife, the world has suffered long. Beneath the heavy hymn that rolled 2,000 years of wrong, and we, entrenched at war, hear not the love song that they bring. Oh, hush the noise and end the strife, to hear the angels sing. For lo, the days are hastening on by prophets seen of old, when with the ever-circling years shall come the time foretold, when peace shall over all the earth, its ancient splendors fade, and the whole world gives back the song which now the angels sing, which now the angels sing.
I told you that was a beautiful song. And now, as you go forward, keep in your imagination the incarnation, the sacrificial death, the resurrection as a whole piece, because it represents the peacefulness of our Christ. So we were looking at the woman caught in adultery today, and he was in a situation that could become violent, but somehow he transformed it. He stopped the violence. I always like to remind people, let me teach a little Bible right now. I like to remind people what a remarkably nonviolent figure Jesus was. It's stunning. Just let me teach you a couple things. Our Gospels were first written in Greek. And so to learn how to write in first century Palestine, you would copy Homer. That's how you learned how to write Greek. It was the primer. And so our Gospel writers would have learned how to write Greek by copying Homer. So those Homeric epics were embedded in them. So when they wrote the Gospels, they wrote a story of their hero. They used Homer's template. So Jesus is looking exactly like the hero in Homer. There's a heroic code in Homer. You have to be a great teacher of morals. You have to be able to stride into situations and hold forth impressively. The heroes perform miracles. You might forget that. There was a kind of basic heroic code. You're supposed to treat paupers and kings the same. That's what the hero did. Treated everyone the same. And they replay these scenes of Homer, plus with adventures at sea and supernatural beings. That's all in Homer. They're telling you about Jesus as their hero, but they leave one thing out. In Homer, the hero always uses violence to fix a problem. They always go to war, they pop somebody in the face. We tell that story to ourselves in every movie. Do you notice this? That violence will fix a problem. The hero beats somebody up or shoots somebody. We keep telling a false story. Don't believe it. That violence will fix a problem. It won't solve anything. It just creates more problems. But we keep telling us this story, then the Bible gives us Jesus. It's a whole different story. It's a hero without a fist. So, when you go forth into this week in your life, go peacefully. Bring the love of Christ into every situation. God bless you.